Hello everyone, hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we'll dive into a seemingly perfect morning on the farm with baby Anna and the single moment at the market that plants a terrifying suspicion of leukemia in Tu Tien's heart, one she decides to hide from Jack. If you enjoy this episode, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next videos. Early sunlight slips through the leaves and spills across the red, rocky soil behind the little house. Tu Tien bends, picking stones from the new garden beds, sweat tracing lines down her cheeks. Beside her, Jack's shirt is already soaked, but his eyes drift to her face more than to the ground. "Tired, honey?" he asks, voice soft as the morning breeze. He calls her that, and it still makes her heart jump. "I'm okay," she answers, shaking her head. Her long hair slips over her faded shirt, tied back, but never staying put. A few steps away, baby Anna toddles in the soft dirt, two braids sticking out from the sides of her head. She claps every time the hoe hits the ground, as if her parents are putting on a show just for her. "Anna, careful," Tu Tien calls. "Don't eat the rocks." Jack laughs, sets the hoe aside and scoops their daughter up before she can put a pebble in her mouth. "You're supposed to cheer, not taste the farm," he teases, bouncing her on his hip. They've been talking all morning, half working, half dreaming. Fences along the edge of the land, a coop of chickens, rows of corn, tomatoes, herbs, a little flower patch, so Anna will always have something bright to look at. "We'll put the corn over there," Jack says, nodding toward the far end of the plot. "And maybe a sandbox for this one." He kisses Anna's cheek. She squeals and grabs his nose. "You're not building a farm," Tu Tien jokes. "You're building a kingdom for her." "Exactly," he grins. "Every queen needs land." He sets Anna on a woven mat in the shade and gives her a plastic cup and spoon. Then he picks up the hoe again. The blade bites into the hard earth with slow, steady rhythm. He glances up every few strokes. "You sure you're okay, honey? If you're tired, we can rest." She wipes her forehead with the back of her hand, feeling the sweat, the heat, the faint itch that seems to live under her skin these days. "Still," she smiles, "if we stop every time I'm tired, this garden will be ready when Anna goes to college," she says. Jack comes closer, dips a small towel into the bucket of water and gently wipes her face. His fingers graze her cheekbone with a tenderness that makes her chest ache. "You don't have to push so hard," he murmurs. "We've got time now." She looks up at him. With the breeze in the trees and their daughter babbling nearby, it really does feel like the worst is behind them. Behind them, the kitten darts through the weeds. Two half-grown puppies tumble around Anna's mat until she shrieks with laughter, clapping so hard the spoon flies from her hand. Jack watches the woman he loves, the child they almost lost, and silently vows to give them everything. To make this garden grow, to make this house safe, to never let pain touch them the way it once did. By late morning, the sun rides higher. They rinse their hands, change clothes, and get ready for the market. "You stay home with Bar or go with Mom?" Jack asks Anna, already knowing the answer. Anna reaches for Tu Tien's leg at once, wrapping both arms around her calf. "She's voting for the market," Tu Tien laughs. They strap Anna into a small carrier on her mother's front, braids neat, hat pulled low. Jack starts the bike, and the three of them ride toward town. The market hits them the moment they arrive. Fish, grilled cakes, exhaust, ripe fruit, the heat of too many bodies. Vendors shout prices, knives thud, someone's radio plays an old song. Jack drops them at the entrance. "I'll go buy feed and tools," he says. "You get what you need. Call me if it's too crowded." "I'm fine," Tu Tien answers, adjusting the strap. "We'll stay on the quiet side, right, Anna?" Anna points at a pile of bananas and squeals. Inside, Tu Tien moves from stall to stall, bamboo basket on her arm, Anna pressed warm against her chest. They pick vegetable seedlings, morning glory, a bag of rice. She grabs a few small socks for Anna, a packet of seeds Jack mentioned. Then, cutting through the roar of the market, a child's cry slices the air. A little girl, maybe 3, stands alone between 2 stalls, face crumpled, tears pouring down her dusty cheeks. People stream around her, barely looking. Without thinking, Tu Tien pushes forward. "Hey, hey!" she says, kneeling while keeping one hand on Anna's back. "Where's your mommy?" The girl sobs harder. I don't know." "It's okay," Tu Tien soothes, taking the small, shaking hand. "We'll find her together." She leads the child through the chaos, asking vendors, weaving between baskets of fish and piles of greens. Her heart pounds. She feels Anna's breath against her neck, hears the lost girl's shallow sobs near her ear. Finally, a young woman rushes toward them, hair wild, eyes frantic. My child," she cries, grabbing the little girl and holding her tight. Before Tu Tien can speak, bright red blood suddenly pours from the woman's nose, running over her lips and chin, dripping onto the market floor. For a moment, everything slows. "Chi, you're bleeding," Tu Tien says, pressing a handkerchief into her hand. "Please, go to the clinic. Don't ignore this." The mother forces a shaky smile, wiping her face. "It's nothing, just internal heat," she says. "It happens. Thank you for bringing my girl." She wipes the last smear of red away, lifts her child and disappears back into the crowd. But the image doesn't fade. Tu Tien stares at the red drops on the dirty ground, stomach twisting. In an instant, she's back in her own mornings, standing over the sink with tissues at her nose, watching hot blood drip into the basin, scratching at her arms and legs in the dark because the itching won't stop, thinking about the strange orange discharge she still hasn't told anyone about. Anna squirms in the carrier, sensing her mother's sudden stillness. "Mum's okay," Tu Tien whispers automatically, but the words feel thin. She buys the last thing she needs, grilled cakes Jack likes, a few extra snacks for Anna, because her body knows how. Smile, pay, nod, say, thank you. On the ride home, though, she can't shake the chill under her skin. The wind rushes past her on the back of the bike, but she feels cold, as if someone just opened a window inside her chest and let fear blow in. In the middle of that noisy, crowded market, the first tiny seed of terror has just been planted quietly in her heart. Mother Loy's house smells faintly of steamed herbs and ginger. Later that afternoon, after dropping Anna and the groceries back at home with Jack, Tu Tien rides over alone, bamboo basket light on her arm, but her chest strangely heavy. She sits at the low table, hands wrapped around a warm cup of tea she barely tastes. "So," Mother Loy says, settling down beside her, "how was the market? They still overcharging for fish?" Tu Tien forces a small smile. "Same as always. Crowded." She hesitates, then the scene spills out. The lost little girl, the frantic mother, the sudden nosebleed, the bright red on the floor. As she speaks, her fingers tighten around the cup, knuckles whitening. When she finishes, the room goes very quiet. Mother Loy doesn't answer right away. Her eyes drift somewhere far away, to a time before Jack, before this farm. Long ago, she begins slowly, I had a good friend, hard-working, healthy, always laughing. Then one day she started getting nosebleeds, morning, night. She said it was just heat, stress, bad air. Then came the itching. She scratched until her arms were covered in red marks. Doctors in town couldn't find anything. They went to Hanoi, that's when they said it. She pauses. Leukemia. The word lands between them like a stone. Years of treatment, she continues softly. So many pills, so many injections, so much money. They sold land, borrowed from everyone. Last I heard, she moved south to keep fighting. Then, nothing. We lost contact. Tu Tien stares at the table, her heartbeat roaring in her ears. That disease, she manages. It's fatal, isn't it? Mother Ly swallows, eyes glistening. They said the earlier you find it, the better the chance. But yes, it's serious. Every word cuts. In her mind, images stack up in a rush. Herself in the bathroom, head tilted back, tissue pressed to her nose as blood runs down her throat. Long, restless nights, scratching her arms and legs until the skin burned, staring at the strange orange discharge on the tissue and pretending it was nothing. Each symptom drops into place like pieces of a horrible puzzle, and the picture they make is one she doesn't dare name. She wants to scream, to stand up and overturn the table, to shout that it isn't fair. Instead, she bites down on her lip so hard she tastes blood. You're quiet, Mother Ly says, gently. Are you feeling okay too? I'm fine, Tu Tien lies, probably just overthinking. Mother Ly nods slowly, but her gaze lingers a little too long on the younger woman's pale face, the way her fingers tremble. Take care of yourself, she says finally. You're still young. Jack and Anna need you strong. The name Anna hits like a fresh wave. Their daughter, her braids, her laugh in the garden that morning. Of course, Tu Tien murmurs. I'll be careful. On the ride home, the sky is painted with streaks of orange and pink, but she barely sees it. The wind lifts her hair, cool against her damp temples, yet the heat and itch under her skin feel worse. She keeps hearing the same word, leukemia, leukemia, leukemia. By the time she arrives back at the farm, the sun is almost down. The vegetable garden glows gold. The house looks impossibly peaceful. Jack and Anna are sitting on the front step. Anna is chewing on a piece of steamed corn, face sticky, while Jack wipes her chin with the edge of his sleeve. Mom, he calls, look who stole my dinner. Anna spots her, squeals, and waves one corn-covered hand. Something inside Tu Tien twists painfully. She steps off the bike, managing a thin smile. Good, eat all your bar's food so he can't be lazy, she jokes. Jack laughs, sets Anna down on her unsteady feet, and lets her wobble toward her mother. As soon as those small arms wrap around her legs, the fear spikes and softens at the same time. Hey, sweetheart, she whispers, scooping Anna up and hugging her tight, a little tighter than usual. Mum's here. After dinner, when Anna is settled with her toys and Mother Ly has gone back to her own house, the sky deepens into a heavy purple. The first stars blink on. Out in the garden, young plants sway gently in the evening breeze. Tu Tien sits on the step, arms wrapped around the belly that once carried her child. The place that was empty for so long now feels full of something else. Dread. Inside her head, one word plays on repeat, leukemia. She traces back every symptom, nosebleeds, itching, discharge, lining them up against the story she heard that afternoon. Each one matches, Each one feels like another nail in a coffin she's already lying in. "Why me?" she whispers to the darkening sky. "I just lost my baby. Now my life too?" No answer comes. Only the rustle of leaves and the distant sound of a bike on the main road. She thinks of Jack, the man who rebuilt her world piece by piece, who turned barren land into this little farm, who calls her honey like it's the easiest thing in the world. If she tells him, she knows exactly what will happen. He'll drop everything, he'll refuse work, exhaust himself looking for doctors and cures and miracles. He'll cry when he thinks she's not looking. The house will fill with pity and fear instead of laughter. She can already see it, his eyes turning soft in a way she hates, not because of love, but because of worry. "I can't," she mutters, shaking her head. "I can't do that to him, not after everything he's done for me." Her chest tightens. If I only have a little time left, I want it to look normal for him, for Anna. I want them to be happy, even if I'm already walking toward the edge. Tears slip down her cheeks, hot and silent. She presses the heel of her hand over her mouth to keep any sound from slipping out. Behind her, the door creaks. Jack's horn echoes once from the yard as he rolls the bike closer to the shed. He steps inside a moment later, still smelling faintly of dust and sun. "There you are," he says, coming up behind her and wrapping his arms around her shoulders, chin resting on her hair. My little farmer looks serious today. She wipes her face quickly, forcing her voice to sound light. "Just thinking where to plant the tomatoes." "We'll decide together," he says easily. "I bought more seedlings. You can boss me around." They walk into the garden as the last light fades, small lamps from the house casting a soft glow over the rows. Jack crouches, showing her where to press each little plant into the earth. His hand covers hers, warm and calloused. "Here," he says, "not too deep. Give it room." He looks at her like there is nothing wrong in the world, like the only thing that matters is whether the roots are straight. Her throat tightens. She wants to blurt everything out, to say, "I think I'm sick, I think I'm dying, I'm terrified." But the words catch on the wall she's built around her fear. If she says them, this simple, beautiful moment will explode. So she swallows the truth and smiles instead. "Okay," she says, "we'll do it your way this time?" He laughs softly, tucking a stray strand of hair behind her ear. "Our way," he corrects. She nods, eyes suddenly wet again. Jack doesn't see. He's already turning back to the soil, talking about fences and future harvests, about the day Anna will be big enough to run through the rows without falling. He doesn't know that in her head she is silently counting seconds, quietly measuring how many more evenings like this she might have. He doesn't know that the garden he's building for their future is, in her mind, starting to look like the last place she'll leave behind. For him, this is the beginning of their new life. For her, standing under the fading sky with that word still echoing, leukemia, it feels like the first step toward an ending no one else can see. After a peaceful morning working in the garden with Jack and their 15-month-old daughter Anna, Tu Tien feels like life is finally settling. A farm, shared dreams, a future that looks bright. But at the noisy market, she helps a lost little girl find her mother, who suddenly suffers a harsh nosebleed. The sight jolts Tu Tien, reminding her of her own nosebleeds, constant itching and strange discharge. Later, at Mother Loy's house, she hears a story about a friend with identical symptoms who was diagnosed with leukemia and disappeared after years of treatment. Fear takes root. At sunset, surrounded by the new garden Jack built for her, Tu Tien silently panics, convinced she might be ill. Unable to crush Jack's hope, she decides to hide her fear, choosing to protect his happiness even if her own time is running out.